It's definitely lighter in here. Still vlogging. Still being that little vloggy boy. There we go. So, there's this guy that was commenting to me about the Batman movies. And, wanted to talk about that this morning since he was chill enough to talk about it. Hit me up. Is this supposed to be on? It's not on. I was trying to see what was playing right now. Pressed on and then went off. There we go. Now it's turning on. So, my favorite Batman movies, if we're going to talk about Marvel, well, is Batman Marvel? No, wait, Batman's DC, right? If we're going to talk about Batman films, my favorite, number 1 is probably Batman Begins. And then number 2 and 3 are for sure, probably number 2 is The Dark Knight, and then number 3 is The Dark Knight Rises. I just like the first one because I don't know, there's kind of something about it being the first one. And then after that one, probably the first one, I guess. The first one that came out with Jack. Is it? See, I'm so bad at actors. It's Jack Nicholson, right? Jack Nicklaus is the golfer, right? Jack Nicholson. I don't know why I'm thinking of Jack Nicklaus. That's how bad my... if you asked me who the presidents were in like the 50s and 60s, I wouldn't be able to tell you. All I know is that at some point in time, Jimmy Carter was president, and then Reagan, and Nixon was during Vietnam. Right? Wasn't Nixon during Vietnam? I forget. Or Lyndon B. Johnson. I know he was during Vietnam. No, wait. I'm sorry. Lyndon B. Johnson was during Vietnam, right? And then Nixon was... he was after, right? I forget. But yeah, so those are my top, and then Batman and Robin I like. I'd probably be number 5. The new Batman, we were talking, oh, I guess Joker has to count because it's part of Batman, right? And then you have to include like Suicide Squad and all that bullshit. The Joker would probably be top 5 for sure. Possibly number 1. At least number 1 or number 2. I mean, for what it's worth. If we're going to talk about Batman movies. I didn't really like Suicide Squad. I like Jared Leto. Until I found out about the whole, like, fucking pedo shit that was going on. And then I pretty much, like, lost all respect. And, they don't really have anything on right now. They got South Park. I feel like Comedy Central is just like, let's just go ahead and just play South Park every single day. Yeah, why not? So, I'm going to try to turn down the settings on this for a second. I don't know if I can. Alright, this should look a little bit better. Yeah, that's better. It could be a little bit lower, low lighting, but that's alright. So, yeah, I've been, like, shooting, like, random shit, and then it takes me, like, hours to post-edit, and then also to upload it at the same time. I'm using CapCut on my desktop. This is kind of random, but it's free. It's free, so... And I'm only really posting these to YouTube right now. I'm not posting to TikTok or to Instagram. So, yeah, Batman. I really wish Christopher Nolan kept making Batman films, and it's too bad. I mean, Oppenheimer and stuff I liked, don't get me wrong. And Interstellar, which came after Batman, was for sure like it. I mean, we're living in an era of like one of the best directors that's ever lived in terms of movies. I feel like he's our version of Humphrey Bogart, but not in terms of actors, in terms of, whatever. So, like, for sure, grandchildren will look back on this time and be like, damn, they had it. They were lucky they had Christopher Nolan. So, yeah. But his comment was, like, pretty much saying the same thing. He didn't like the Batman with Edward Pattinson. I didn't think it was bad. Like, I liked the cinematography of it because it was shot on a Sony A7 IV, and you kind of just get like a more, especially with the lenses, you just get like a creamier kind of like, you just get a really like creamy kind of look. And the lens that I'm shooting with on this is not. It just comes with the Lumix G7. So if I change the lens out, it'd probably look better. But I don't have the money right now to afford an adapter, and then a lens that's probably going to be manual. If it's going to be 50mm, it's going to be like fucking in my face, like, it's going to look like this the whole time. I'm going to have to, probably not this close, but like something like this, and then I'm going to have to like go all the way back to, yeah, that's annoying. And so, they got Pacific Rim Uprising. So, I don't really have any games on today. This morning, I think the Masters is this weekend, so I'll probably just watch the Masters, I guess, live from the Masters. I'll turn this up so you can hear it. Oh, this commercials. So yeah, I was never really a fan of like that. I was never really a fan of like, I don't know, I liked the Batman. I didn't think it was bad, and I liked the cinematography of it, but it definitely wasn't as good as the Joker. And I don't know, it seemed like just another reason to make another Batman movie. And then Batman with Ben Affleck is like the one that no one really, what was that, Batman versus Superman? I didn't really think that was a Batman film. I thought that was more like a DC film, like Aquaman and all that. But I don't really put that on my list of Batman movies because you have two superheroes in it. I consider it more of a Superman movie, but that's just me. So, yeah, I forget his name. I don't know if I had a name or not. It doesn't really matter, but it's definitely interesting to kind of, like, I liked Batman and Robin a lot because, and I put this in the comment, because it's like nostalgic. And they didn't have smartphones, and they didn't have like all this shit that you see in movies today, not Batman related, but just regular movies, And I think in those movies, especially in the 90s and the early 2000s, they were a lot more like people were really like into what were electronics going to be like. And, people thought 2020, what was life going to be like electronically. They didn't even have the smartphone back then. Like a touchscreen device that we have now. Like 1997, which is when Batman came out, Batman and Robin. Like, nobody even thought we were going to have a touchscreen device. So, obviously there were computers and whatnot. But, now it's showing. I think they were playing the last week. They were playing the women's amateur championship here. So, sorry, that was kind of gross. But yeah, I get the comments that I look like Ben Affleck so much, and then Adam Sandler, I don't really feel like I look like him. Like, I don't. A lot of people tell me in real life or if they hear that, or if they know me, they're like, "You don't look like Adam Sandler." Like, I don't know. I think if I was younger, maybe it's because of the beard that I look like him. Ben Affleck, I definitely have the facial tone for sure. But if I was a mixture between Ryan Reynolds and Ben Affleck, I think that's a good commonality. Because I get Ryan Reynolds every now and then. But I think when you gotta look at the whole like structure too, I definitely look more like Ben Affleck, like my whole body wise, than I do just my face. So good old Benjamin. Yeah. But Batman. I really like Batman Begins. Dark Knight, I like it. It's just really like sad to watch. And then even Dark Knight Rises is pretty sad too, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm just being honest about it. It's just kind of depressing. And then the whole shootings that happened after, super depressing. I don't know what made somebody think that it would be okay to, shoot up a movie theater. Like, what? Like, it's a comic. Like, it's a comic. It's a book. It comes from a book. Like, if the person was like, if he was using it as a means to do something, then that makes sense. Just like, oh well, it's happening already. Why not? If I can use it as a means, then okay. But it sounded like he was almost like obsessed with it, with the whole Joker thing, and it sounded like he was obsessed with it. It's like, dude, it's a fucking comic book. Like, it's a comic. It's a fucking like book you can shred in pieces. It's a book, dude. It's a comic book. It's not even a book. It's a comic, and obviously there's social relevance to it and everything. But I just don't. I don't see. See how that can happen. I'm gonna pause this. Hold on.